Most of us don't know how we feel about our lives. Most of us know how we've been taught to feel about our lives. How does that make you feel? In fact, I challenge you to pause this video right now and do just that. Take a minute or two to write down how you think you feel about your life and then come back to those feelings after you've watched this. And of most importance, let us know in the comment section if you still feel the same way. Cool. Now that we're aware we're being taught, notice I've used the word feel to describe our lives, not to be confused with who. However, just who do you think you are, Mr. Big Shot? I think that's how it goes. Because it's who we thinketh that ties the noose around who we feeleth, when it really should be the inverse. However, and most unfortunately, modern societal coding forces us to lose sight of how we truly feel about our lives almost from inception, resulting in being taught how we feel about our lives through a massive structure of limited labels. It is an extrospective collective directed towards subjective material expenses. Say that 3 times fast. Culminating and ruminating self flagellations and negative self connotations, meaning comparing, contrasting, complaining, jealousy to hating, self pity gaming, indelibly we're waiting on another fault to blame it on, all in order to define how we feel about our life. Are you not entertained? For the why starts primarily and most specifically because we are things driven. And the more and more we collect things, or for that matter, the more we fail to collect things, the more the things speak for how we feel, or at least how we think we want others to think how we feel. Because, of course, a collective of particular things provides acceptance from others who have similar things. Therefore, anything to the contrary feels unacceptable. The thing with that is, feelings create our worlds, and the creation of a world through acceptance of things in order to feel like we fit in via this extrospective illusion creates an introspective emotional danger for us. Listen to how this works a little bit deeper. When we prioritize only what others are accepting of us as through things, what we feel becomes based off what they feel. And so we begin to use things to control and narrate what others feel about us because we're not in control of what we feel about ourselves. So now, emotionally, this concept of feelings through things teaches us to be tied to only revealing what is most pleasing in another's light, leading us to only speak, behave, act, and put a mask on as that which reveals most worthiness in the eyes of the observer. The observer, therefore, of us and how we feel is through the eyes of another, who undoubtedly is through another and another and another's, shunning our true feelings, which is in constant subconscious internal observance, into the dark and rendering them unusual, leaving us in how we feel inside ourselves, unusual to ourselves, thereby abandoning our true selves. Moreover, this extrospective view is not summarily tied to others slash external observers, views, and acceptance. We now also, and in the same way, become internally submissive to our external environment in a way that detaches us from the connection to our environment, and once detached, relinquishes our conscious, creative control of our environment, submitting us to chance and circumstance. And this is dangerous because, contrary to mainstream belief, our environment is a reflection of how we truly feel, which, if you remember, we have tucked into the darkness. And when that occurs, our environment, through the law of life and being, reinforces what we've submitted to, which is subjectively objective, in that what we feel is what we will see, and once felt, it has no choice but to be seen. And this is so deep, it needs to be fleshed out a tad bit more. This feedback loop of subjective, objective feeling that you've lost control over, that we've lost control over, breeds an environment that has no choice but to continue feeding whatever feelings we're really feeling about life, resulting in a continuation of the same experiences we're really experiencing in life, which we have hidden in an internal vault with no lock and key. So please, miss me with the hyperbolic rhetoric. The front we put on for ourselves, which results in the abandoning of our true selves, now leaves us alone to ourselves in an environment that continues to remind us of how we really feel. So again, I ask, how do you really feel about your life? And are you prepared to convince yourself otherwise? For herein lies the subtle divide between having been taught and learning. It's all you, and everything is you, which is all on the inside. Everything is all you. Therefore, we can't get out until we go in. Life is like a mirror, my friends. It simply reflects, not reveals, but reflects what you feel about it. And here's a quote from Omar Khayyam that I believe will help us. It's titled, "The Moving Finger." Check it out. The moving finger writes, and having writ, moves on. Nor all thy piety nor wit shall lure it back to cancel half a line, nor all thy tears wash out a word of it. Ooh. Can you feel the burden of that eloquent truth? Because here's the takeaway I believe we must take from all of this. We must learn to look in the mirror and stop telling ourselves what we've seen and start telling ourselves what we see. Don't miss the subtleties, because we've been taught to believe that in order to have meaning, we must insist on describing how we feel. But what is it that you truly feel? Do you feel the experiences that have happened to you in your life? Do you feel the words that describe your thoughts? Do you feel the material that makes up your visuals? What do you actually feel? And when you can answer that without creating a label that was taught to you and without associating a metric that was predisposed to you, you can really begin to learn to teach yourself what it is you feel. So watch it now. Don't get it twisted. Most of us hope there's some bulletproof formula that grants us undisturbed serenity. Serenity now, serenity now. But that's not how it goes. All emotions require back and forth commotion. There's no peace without pain, fear without hate, prosperity without poverty. Make no mistake, you must suffer for your sovereignty. But watch what happens when you apply this knowledge, my G. When we stop accepting less from ourselves, when we stop accepting demeaning self-behavior and negative self-talk, when we stop accepting the disconnect between our mind, body, and spirit, when we stop complaining, blaming, and creating disease through our own self-dis-ease, when we stop accepting weakness, we see new circumstances, and then and only then can we teach ourselves how to feel and how we want to feel about ourselves. Anything less is an accepted teaching from a lesser being. We make it out by going in. Change your mind, change your life. I am who I say I am. Do you and stay rich.